wheels of war. In the Second World War, transport was a key to victory. Vehicles like these kept the armies moving. They're a part of history that is often forgotten. But more than 60 years later, the wheels are still turning. These are in the hands of a group of Australian and New Zealand enthusiasts who'll drive them 5,000 kilometres across Europe from Turkey to France. From the battlefields of Gallipoli, birthplace of the ANZACS legend, to the invasion beaches of Normandy. For 2 months, they'll leave home and job behind and eventually join thousands of others for the anniversary of D-Day. This is their story.
This is a 1943 Chev truck. It was manufactured in Canada, assembled in Brisbane, Australia. It's a 15A four-wheel drive. I purchased it off a cattle station I worked on as a young lad. I drove it at a very young age. We're not sure whether it's served in the Middle East, but it's done up in the RAAF colours.
This is a 1942 WLA Harley Davidson. It was used by the MP company in South Australia and went to auction in 1956, and I bought it 6 months after that for £45.
This is a 1942 Chevrolet C15. We call them Blitzers in Australia, I'm not quite sure why. The engine in it is the original 216 Chev motor, and it still has the 4-speed crash box behind it. Pretty much everything's standard. The only thing that's really not standard is a fuel pump. They have dual fuel tanks. I like them because they're a bit ugly.
This is my 1943 Willys Jeep. I acquired it some years ago from a farmer in Mudgee, and I spent 3 years restoring it. In fact, it was a ground-up restoration. I sandblasted the whole chassis and body with a small sandblaster. I actually used 3 compressors. I burnt the 3 of them out eventually because it took so long.
Here we've got a 1941 Ford Ute. It served in Australia in the Northern Territory in the anti-tank division. The symbols on the front, the kangaroo over the boomerang, denotes it as the 6th Infantry Division from Australia, which my father served in during the Second World War. The 22 over the 56 denotes that that's the 2nd Infantry Battalion, the Australian AIF. In the Second War, they had a 2nd Infantry Division in the First War, so that's why we got the 2nd, the 2nd Infantry Battalion of the Second War.